I'm here with J.C. Trujillo in the studio. He is running for re-election for Socorro School Board position number 3. Welcome, J.C.
Thank you, Reese.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be able to get the message out to our community.
Well, good. I'm glad that we can get this and introduce people. Speaking of introducing, since some of our audience may not know you, would you give us a little introduction of who you are and what you do here in Socorro and just who you are?
Thank you. So, like you said, Reese, I am J.C. Trujillo. I'm running for Socorro Consolidated School Board Position 3. I was born and raised here in Socorro, and I am currently the CFO for Positive Outcomes. Prior to that, I have extensive background in technology. That was where my original career was in, and running enterprise networks. From there, I actually worked at First State Bank and left there running the front line, which was all of our finance and personal bankers.
Okay.
And went to work for Positive Outcomes. So that's now I have an extensive background in finance and administration, and just this year, we started providing family support services to families in need. And so that's my personal background. Like you said, I'm running for re-election, so I've been on the school board for 4 years now. Actually, it's 4.5 with the new law, so our elections got moved up. But with that, I've had a lot of experience working with our staff and our students in developing educational policy and developing budgets and working very closely with the administration. So, and that's where we're at today.
Okay. So as a CFO, if I can ask a question, so I've been doing some study on the school board, trying to do a little bit, and I understand there's two board members that are on the finance subcommittee. Are you on that subcommittee?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay.
I currently am.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was actually on the budget committee.
Okay.
So this is actually my first year being on the finance committee, which oversees the finances throughout the year.
Okay.
And then the budget committee and the audit committee, which I served on for the first 3 years of my tenure, was of course, you're developing the budget for the following school year, and then the audit committee is your reviewing the audit and working with the auditors for the previous school year.
For the previous school year. Okay, so that gives us a little more insight into some of those board functions. That's what I've been trying to do, is kind of illuminate a little bit of what those are, so people can understand, what does the board do?
Right.
Just because we have a lot of sometimes emotional expectations of things, but then there's the real part of what you guys can actually do, and I appreciate you kind of telling me a little bit. So you want to run for election again. So tell me, what's your motivation for staying on the board? Why do you want to run again?
So my largest motivation is I have 2 children in the Socorro Public Schools. I've got an 11-year-old, Isaiah, and my 14-year-old is a freshman, Angel. And so that is my first and foremost priority, and giving them the best access to education that they can have, followed by the needs of our community. I've been a community servant for before I even got on the school board. I'm very involved in our community activities and what our community needs, and so that was my next motivation.
Okay, can you expand a little bit on being involved in our community activities and what our community needs? Some example of something that you've done since I'm a little new here. Absolutely.
So. One of the largest things that I've been involved in is really understanding some of the needs of our community when it comes to economic development, technological advancement, and those type of things. And so through that, I have done a lot of research and a lot of advocacy work at the state level, trying to bring in those services, or those much needed services that we need in Socorro. And so right now we've got one of 3 counties in the state, Doña Ana, Rio Riva, and then Socorro County, are participating in the 100% Community Initiative. And what that is identifying the need in 5 survival services and 5 thriving services that our students need in order to thrive and succeed.
Okay, so when we're looking at, with the forum, we're looking at substance and mental health and the quality of the student life. You're kind of already engaged in that.
Absolutely.
Those 5, as you call it.
There's 5 survival services.
5, yeah.
So those survival services are sufficient food, sufficient and stable housing, access to physical and dental and vision health, access to behavioral and mental health, and then because we live in such a rural area, we need to have reliable transportation.
Okay.
And then our 5 thriving services are our largest is the community schools, and that's the biggest thing that I'd like to implement. Then we have early childhood education, peer support, job training, and parent supports.
Okay. And that's part of your motivation, is to continue that work that you're doing right now.
Absolutely.
And get reelected so that you can continue that work.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So aside from those things, that's quite a bit right there. But if I ask you what your vision is, I mean, it sounds like you're already engaged with a lot of what your vision is.
So the vision for the schools and the school board, it actually boils down into 3 different categories. The first is increased access to our students. We have to have increased access to education, whether it's after-school tutoring or career technical education, if students are going to go on a career path versus a college path, or the needs for things outside of education, which when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have to be able to deliver those services before education can happen. Mm-hmm. And so that's the increased access. The next thing is accountability, and that's accountability from the board level all the way down into the student level and parent level. We have to be able to hold all different aspects accountable, and that's through our policy and strategic plan. Mm-hmm. And then the largest thing that we've been missing is our community collaboration.
Okay.
And so we have to be able to collaborate with our community partners such as New Mexico Tech, City of Socorro, the county, as well as our outlying partners in the county such as Magdalena Schools, so we can actually leverage those services and those things that we can provide to our students.
So what's your plan, or what's your idea for expanding that community collaboration here in Socorro in your next term?
It actually goes into number 1, the strategic plan that we need to be able to build, but also being able to bring everybody to the table as equal partners. So right now, everybody's really seems to work in silos, and we need to not do that. We've got to get everybody to the table, because once we have everybody at the table, then everybody will buy in, and then hopefully be able to grow.
Yeah. So the strategic plan, again, that's part of the board's requirement, is to create that strategic plan. And
that is correct.
That would be new for the next group of school board electees. Okay, so that's kind of tying into what you're going to try to do, is bring everybody to the table on that, and foster that collaboration through meetings, or through
meetings. But the board also has the ability to create additional subcommittees. So right now the state requires that we have a finance subcommittee, a budget subcommittee, as well as an audit subcommittee. But the board has the authority to create subcommittees in many different areas.
Correct.
And one of the largest things is first off, we talked about the strategic plan, but the other thing is that the need for curriculum. Mm-hmm. So, and the educational plan for student success. So it used to be that this was, under the previous administration, it kind of went by the wayside, and it wasn't a function of the board. And now, under the new administration, they're actually requiring that the board approve an educational plan, which is actually going to fall right under that strategic plan. So the strategic plan is going to cover many different things. It has to cover technology, how it's going to work into the curriculum, as well as how we're going to deliver educational services and close that achievement gap.
Okay, so you said administration. Are you talking state administration or local district?
State administration.
Okay.
Yep.
Just want to make sure I understood that.
Yes.
So you're looking at, you were the first I mentioned a lot of career and technical, so you're looking at some technical solutions to some of these issues as far as technical systems, am I understanding?
No, career technical, CTE, career technical education is expanding our career technical offerings, such as right now we have welding and construction classes, but we need to be able to expand those to electrical, plumbing, whatever that vocation field is going to be. We have the ability to partner with various different universities such as CNM, Western, and then of course New Mexico Tech.
Okay.
And so those are those CTE offerings that we can offer at the high school level.
Okay, that's great. Mm-hmm. And let's see where we're at here. Mm-hmm. So, all right, before I get to, so basically, let me see if I can summarize. So motivation is to continue a lot of the work that you're doing right now with community outreach, making sure that the environment is there, the 5 groups that we talked about, for the students to learn and thrive in, and that's part of the ongoing work that you're going to be doing. You're going to be moving from the budget to the finance committee if reelected and working on the finance, but you're going to be working a lot on the strategic plan and the educational plan. Those are some of the things that you see that need to be done. Focus on I heard career technical education. We talked about that. We talked a little bit about tech, bridging it, and some of the things. Did I miss anything?
There's a lot in there.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there. Okay.
And then increased access.
Increased access. Now, part of that increased access, that was the question I wanted to get to with increased access. Did you have an enterprise network background? I mean, are you seeing technology as being able to be able to give us more access?
Yes. However, it needs to be able to complement and build into the curriculum. So a lot of times we'll just throw technology solutions out there and hope that they just kind of foster and grow. But there's not really any plan. And so, again, going back to a technology plan or a strategic plan, how is that going to complement the curriculum? And we go off of Common Core standards. So when we start looking at grade level achievement or grade level proficiency, how is that going to play a role into it? So it's not the end all be all, it's not the silver bullet, but it has to be definitely a part.
How's it going to enhance it, and what's the most effective way to apply it?
Exactly.
All right, JC. Well, I've learned a lot here since you visited, so thank you very much. I appreciate the time to talk with our listeners and me and educate us a little bit on that and your ambitions for getting back into the school board. And give you a last minute conclusion just to wrap it up and send your re-election message out to the audience.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I am JC Trujillo. I'm running for Socorro Consolidated Schools Board Position 3. Again, it is for re-election, so we still have a lot to do. We have to get back to making decisions for the betterment of our students. Education is the foundation to a successful future, and without that, we start to see some of the issues that we're having around Socorro. So, with that, in order to provide that foundation, we have to have increased access, we have to have accountability, and we have to have community collaboration. We have to take advantage of new programs and funding that the state is sending down, such as K-5 Plus and Early Learning Time Program, or Extended Learning Time Program. And so, again, I'd ask for your support and your vote on November 5th. And thanks, Reese, for inviting me down to have this conversation.
You're welcome, JC. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. You can meet JC Trujillo. He'll be at our school board forum that we're going to be hosting at Saraceno Middle School this coming week, Thursday at 5:30 p.m. There's going to be a meet and greet with all 9 candidates. 5:30 to 6 p.m. You'll be able to meet JC Trujillo there. And then at 6 o'clock, we're going to start a formal forum with the candidates and ask them some questions with the Socorro County Prevention Coalition. I always have a trick time with that name.
Yeah.
And so you can meet JC Trujillo at the school board forum. He'll be answering more direct questions during that forum that we have for him. And we invite you to come out, put it on your calendar. Saraceno Middle School, 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 24th of October. If you can't come out, Rio Grande Valley Radio will be live streaming that forum at 6 o'clock and bringing it into the home so we can get the most exposure for our school board candidates here in Socorro and make the best choice as a result. So, JC, thank you so much for coming in today. And this is Ranger Reese signing off for Socorro. It's been a long day. This is Ranger Reese trying to sign off for Rio Grande Valley Radio's Socorro Community Interest Program. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.